They got down there, they really kind of had to choose what side that they were going to really work with, and they really had no need for both cartels, so they chose.
Were they being forced to choose?
That's all speculative. That I don't think that it was like that. I think it was more like, pick your poison. Who you're gonna roll.
Be with both.
Right, you're not gonna be with both. That's clear.
Were Beltran vibes with the Gulf Cartel, or they were their own thing?
I believe he was his own thing, but it's still separate. They also separated. Beltran Leyva and Chap were together at one point.
Yeah.
Then they separated, had beef.
It's really the Sinaloa Federation.
Yeah. So you're talking. I pretty much got put in position, and they sanctioned an okay. They kind of gave a blessing at the level that they're at. All they really had to say, yo, he's good. Deal with him. He can handle it. And they kind of somewhat let me handle some lower level clients of theirs. And
who did they put you with?
Albino Quintero was cousins with Caro Quintero, which he was kind of one of the main lieutenants. There was other underlings under.
An old man, Caro Quintero?
Yeah. So his cousin was kind of like running the show, and there was a few phone conversations here and there between myself and the associates who he sent to represent him here in Chicago, because he didn't really come here, but he came a few times. He was in the studio with us before the Twins went on the run. They were taking care of both cartels, but they were in the studio with us, and hanging with us, and so they knew me from around them, so it wasn't hard for them to refer me and say, yeah, you remember Cash from the studio, he's good, take care of him. And then they sent lieutenants out and people to kind of oversee the whole operation and kind of hold things down, and but they gave me free rein to do what I needed to do, and that's kind of where my reign and run into the drug trade really started to happen. Prior to that, I was really like a lieutenant for the Flores brothers and running errands, and a lieutenant to Cato before he died.
Interacting with people on that level, what's the logistics of a day in the life when a load is coming in, or you told me one?
Yeah, facilitating, warehouse space and where it's going to be delivered to, what time that's going to be delivered.
How do you find a warehouse?
Everybody's trying to make some money. The cleaning guy at a warehouse that has access and keys to the door will let you in their warehouse. The warehouse owner might not know, but you got a place behind closed doors to pull into and do your thing. Obviously you want to talk with the owner and him know, but there's.
Did you use the same places over and over?
Nah, those keys get thrown away sometimes, and you change complete logistics of things, especially when you think things are going wrong in other places or things are getting hot. So you change those logistics around, on the level that we were playing at, and me seeing and watching them operate. I kind of learned the game and what way to move, how to move. They were keen businessmen. At the end of the day, they weren't resorting to violence.
Tell me that story about the second time you got a big load and with the problem with the truck.
Oh, well, the warehouse backed out on us, and they couldn't get access to the warehouse, so I'm sitting in the back of a semi-trailer moseying down at 65, 75 miles an hour while I'm digging for kilos, looking through produce.
They were like signaled by some salmon or something?
Yeah. We had some schematics of where exactly the wall was, that the crates were varying. But when you don't have a warehouse, the most dangerous the most dangerous part of it is unloading it and transferring it from the back of that door of that semi truck to the back of some Suburbans or some trucks that are lined up, and you want to have a couple in case one guy gets popped. You send one guy this way, you're talking 200-300 kilos.
So 3 Suburbans pull up, each get 100 bricks.
Yeah, send them in different directions, post them somewhere till you get to where you're going to receive them all, and then bring them in little by little, one by one. You know, I was in an apartment setting downtown, so for me it was, you know, I couldn't just pull up a truck over by my
So
spot.
you weren't living at your stash.
No. I mean, you know, you got different ways to do it. You know, sometimes you're stuck with it at home with you. You know, but I was I'm a small operation. I mean, it's crazy. You know, I went from handling deliveries and being a lieutenant and handling money and holding things for them and not really being responsible and knowing what it is to be responsible for that large amount of quantities of things. So for me, it was like surreal, you know, to be in knee deep in kilos in my bathtub and not, you know, I got to move all this shit, you know.